250 years ago, 13 tiny colonies dared to defy the most powerful empire on earth. Nobody believed they could win. Nobody believed they could even survive. But today, that same nation controls more wealth, more power, and more influence than any empire in human history. This is the story of how 13 rebel colonies became the most powerful country on earth, and it almost didn't happen. Happy 250th birthday, America. For 2.5 centuries, this nation has been tested by war, division, and crisis. And every single time, it came back stronger. So, how did a small group of rebels build the most powerful superpower the world has ever seen? Let's go back to the beginning. It's July 1776, inside a hot, crowded room in Philadelphia. 56 men are about to do something unthinkable: declare war on the King of England. They had no real army, no navy, and absolutely no guarantee of survival. But they had something more powerful than weapons: an idea. The idea that all men are created equal, with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On 4th July, the Declaration of Independence was signed, and a new nation was born: 13 colonies, 2.5 million people, against the strongest empire on the planet. The Revolutionary War would last 8 brutal years. American soldiers froze through brutal winters with no shoes, no food, and barely any pay. At Valley Forge, soldiers wrapped rags around their bleeding feet just to keep marching. George Washington led an army that should have lost again and again. But in 1781, with help from French allies, the Americans cornered the British at Yorktown, and the unthinkable happened. The most powerful empire on earth surrendered. America had won its freedom, but the hardest part was just beginning. A new country needed a government, a constitution, and a plan to survive. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson made a deal that would double the size of the nation overnight: the Louisiana Purchase. Pioneers pushed west in covered wagons, facing deserts, mountains, and unknown danger. Railroads stretched across the continent. Gold was discovered in California. Cities exploded almost overnight. By the MID 1800s, America stretched from the Atlantic to the Pacific. But growth came at a terrible cost, and a deep divide was tearing the nation apart. By 1861, America was no longer united. It was at war with itself. The issue of slavery split the country in two: North against South. Over the next 4 years, more Americans would die than in any war before or since. Brothers fought brothers. Families were torn apart. More than 6 lakh lives were lost before the Union finally held. In 1865, slavery was abolished, and the United States stayed exactly that: united. America had survived its darkest hour. By the late 1800s, America was transforming at lightning speed. Factories rose where farmland used to be. Steel, oil, and electricity powered a new American age. Inventors like Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell changed how the entire world lived. Immigrants arrived by the millions, chasing something called the American dream. Skyscrapers reached the clouds. Factories never stopped running. America wasn't just growing anymore. It was becoming a giant. Then came 2 world wars that would reshape the entire planet. America's factories built the tanks, planes, and ships that helped win World War I. After the war, while other nations lay in ruins, America stood standing stronger than ever. The US dollar became the world's currency. American culture spread across the globe. In 1969, America did something no nation had ever done. It put a man on the moon. From a group of rebel colonies to landing on the moon in less than 200 years, America had officially become a superpower. Today, America leads the world in technology, innovation, and military power. Companies built in American garages now shape how the entire planet communicates. Hollywood, music, fashion, American culture is everywhere you look. But the journey hasn't been perfect. America still faces division, debate, and challenges.